Yo dudes!
Welcome to Bombay potatoes, vegan style with an upgrade.
So this is the second part in our Veganuary cooking series. We're going to teach you the fundamentals and basics of vegan cooking. We're going to take a traditional Bombay potatoes, which normally uses a potato. There's mustard seed, there's turmeric, and there is salt, and that's typically basic. We're going to give this a massive upgrade. We're going to teach you some fundamentals of cooking, and this is going to be epic. Here we go. Okay, so often the basis of Indian cooking is using aromatic or using fragrance or using a lot of spices. Many people are afraid of spices. We're going to show a way of upgrading your spices.
So there's two means to this. Like, one way we're going to toast our spices and we're going to put them in a pestle and mortar. And the other way, the much more democratic and simple way, is just 2 tablespoons of curry powder. But this way is more aspiration. If you do a pestle and mortar in your press, this is a really good thing to do.
Okay, we've got some cumin seed. I'm going to go in with about a tablespoon of cumin seeds.
I'm going to go in with about a tablespoon of fennel seeds too.
Fennel seeds will have that lovely kind of aniseed or licorice note to it.
We're going in with about 3 cloves. Cloves are very pungent, kind of very aromatic, so I think 3 is more than enough.
They're a great one if you have a toothache, a great way of kind of numbing the pain naturally. I'm going to go in with about 10 black peppercorns. That's whole peppercorns. And last and final thing, I have 5 cardamom pods. In they go. That's going to add that lovely aromatic note to it.
So these are going to really be the basis of our potatoes and give such flavour to them.
Into your pestle and mortar, we got a big load of fresh coriander, also known as cilantro for our friends across the water. We're going to break off just the stalks straight into our pestle and mortar. Next into the pestle and mortar, I've got about a tablespoon of turmeric powder.
Okay, so how you know your spices are done is when they start to pop. They'll start popping, you can actually hear them. You can hear them popping and the room starts to become super aromatic. So I'm going to add them, as soon as they start popping, I'm going to add them into our pestle and mortar.
Take our pestle and we're going to go not too, like you don't want to grind them too much. We want to keep a little bit of texture in there.
Okay, so we've got our pan on a high heat and now it's time, Bombay potatoes. I've got a tablespoon and a half of oil. I'm going to add it into the pan. So just to give you, we've boiled 1 kilo of potatoes. These are just a waxy potato.
Perfect, yeah. And then we've got half a kilo of sweet potatoes. We went with purple sweet potatoes, but use whatever type you want.
An interesting fact about purple sweet potatoes is the people in Okinawa are some of the longest living people in the world. It's one of the blue zones, it's a place in Japan. And 50% of their diet approximately is made up of sweet potatoes, and a lot of them are the purple ones.
I've got 1 red onion, chopped finely.
Whoa!
Nice. We've got a thumb-sized piece of ginger, in it goes, and we've got 2 red chilies.
So these were just dried red chilies, we're just gonna add them in. We like it spicy, so we're including the seeds. Obviously the heat in the chili comes from the seeds and it comes from the white pit in the inside too.
While Dave is stirring that, I've got 3 fresh tomatoes. I'm just gonna chop them finely. If you don't have fresh tomatoes, just use 1 tin of chopped tomatoes. Okay, because we're cooking this in a small pan, we're going to put in half our curry paste. So you see it's come down to a curry paste, and as Dave mentioned, if you don't have a pestle and mortar, just use 2 tablespoons of curry powder.
So you'd use that now?
So we're going to pop that in now. And don't worry if it all clumps together and it seems grass-like, that's totally cool.
Yeah, it really does, it's amazing.
We're going to take half our fresh tomatoes, in they go. They're going to provide moisture that are going to distribute those spices and our grass-like curry paste. We're going to go with a good handful of fresh spinach.
It's going to give, like, colour I think is so important with all cooking. So we're going to have the red of the tomato, the green of the spinach, and obviously the potato. And there will be elements of green coming through from the curry paste.
So as the spinach starts to wilt, we're going to take half of our potatoes and pop them into the pan. The reason why we're only going to go with half is because we've quite a small pan and we do want them to kind of touch the bottom and start to brown a little bit. We can do them in 2 batches. In on top of that, we're going to add the juice of half a lime. That's going to help add a bit of moisture. There will be a bit of sticking down the bottom and a bit of charring, but that's going to add that nice charred undertone, which is just going to be another dimension of flavour.
So at this stage, after we fried everything, got everything well together after about 2 minutes, it's quite important to put a lid on now. This is just going to make sure we're going to steam it. I'm going to put it down to medium heat, and we're going to leave it steam for probably 5 minutes. It'll just sweat itself. It'll all come together and it will mean that it'll keep its moisture, whereas if we kept frying it, it'll all come together into one starchy big ball. Okay, so best ways to eat this dish, I think a couple of ways. Number 1, you could wrap it in any kind of a wrap, wholemeal wrap, or a dosa if you want to make it much more
What would you serve with?
I would serve it with some kind of chutney along the side of it. any kind of a relish, and then I'd wrap it all together and yum, like a
Delicious. Or even a
like a
raita would
masala
go
dosa.
well. You could do a nice coconut yogurt raita. Raita meaning grated cucumber, put salt to remove the moisture, put a bit of mint, put a little bit of lemon, might put a bit of sweetener, and it's kind of like a nice yogurt that just cools down the spiciness of a typical curry.
I certainly wouldn't serve it with rice or something like that because this is so starchy and carbohydrate as it is. I'd probably put some avocado with it. I'll serve some chili flakes on top of it, and even simply as it is, it'd be a really nice, substantial dish. So we've been eating a vegan diet for 17 years now, and I think one thing which always one of our biggest tips to anyone going vegan is to be prepared, because otherwise you get caught in the hoof and it's quite difficult. So this works really great as a lunchbox, eating cold the next day. You know, you can serve it as a dinner. It'll last, I'd say, 3 days in the fridge, and it can freeze quite well as well. But very good as a lunchbox.
Last and final thing to add into this dish is a good generous pinch of salt. And generous being the word, because potatoes can really take a lot of salt. Okay, we're gonna pop it on now, and we're gonna serve it with fresh coriander. Oh. Wow. I love those brown bits, look great, don't they? So with any remaining potatoes and any remaining spices, just repeat the exact same. This is gonna serve 2 extremely hungry people, 4 less hungry people, and 6 people that are
Not really hungry at all as a side.
yeah. It does make a great side. A nice little thing just to serve it with fresh coriander, as we mentioned, or cilantro. If you're from that other part of the world.
And then finally, what's all left to do is to grab a spoon. Dudes, Bombay potatoes, vegan style.
Upgrade.
Steaming hot, delicious. Coming to you.
Oh, yum. Wow.
That was way better than I thought.
That's really good.
Thank you, Mr. Penn.
Yum. There's a lot of aromatics going on, a lot of spices, a lot of different flavor notes. Your tongue is kind of being hit by many different dimensions. You're kind of like,
I thought it was going to be bland, but that's super tasty. Really, really is. I'm genuinely surprised, as you can see. So that's our Bombay potatoes. Next Tuesday, we're keeping on the Veganuary scene and really supporting anyone that's doing Veganuary.
it's an amazing brunch recipe with our friend Epi Vegan. He cooks this incredible, I'm not even going to tell you what it is, but tune in next Tuesday. Nice low FODMAP recipe coming Friday. Thank you for watching, sending loads of love, and go forth and eat your vegetables.